Okay, so we can see that our participants have started responding, and we can see that most of the participants are from Kathmandu and few of us are still also joining from China. And I'm really glad to see you all joining this session, and I'm really excited to conduct this session with you all. So actually, we have received few of the interested participants from other countries as well. So because of that, we will be conducting the session in English. But if you require any of the support, I would also be talking Nepali in between. So once again, welcome each and every one of you to the online workshop on mastering workplace communication. And today for 1.5 hours, we'll be talking about various techniques on how we can master our workplace communication. So before starting our session, I would like to request you all to kindly please think about a particular situation, a particular scenario which have recently taken place at your workplace, at the place where you are currently working. And please think about a situation where you have felt very upset or confused or frustrated, or any of the emotions where you did not feel right. So when you are currently thinking about this particular moment, I would like to request you all to also think about what were the reasons behind what were the reasons behind these things trigger you the most in the terms of communication itself. So you can talk about the emotions, you can talk about how you can feel, and if you are also comfortable, you can write the answers in the chat box. You can simply say you felt really bad, or this was a reason behind you felt really bad for that particular situation. Or you can also talk about the positive scenario in your workplace in terms of communication in the chat box itself. So again, just to repeat with the question, you need to think about a particular scenario which have recently taken place in your workplace. And you need to think about what were the reasons behind you felt really bad. You can talk about the emotions. You can think about what were actually the reasons behind you really felt really bad, or let's say good about it. Okay, so we can see a few of the answers in the chat box, where you have mentioned that you have felt neglected by your juniors or seniors, or you were unheard, right? You had a very bad scenario dealing with a particular situation because of the attitudinal issues. You also talked about the mistakes, or you also talked about the nature, the personality of the people. So when we talk about the various triggering moment, so basically in terms of the communication aspects, various research shows that there are majorly three causes of communication triggers. The first one is the tone of voice. So let's say a particular person is talking to you, and based upon the way he or she is talking with us, we might feel good about it or bad about a particular scenario itself. Okay, so based upon the tone of voice, and just let me elaborate more on tone of the voice. So when we talk about tonality of the voice, it generally refers to the volume of a particular person. So the way we are speaking in a very loud voice, or let's say we are talking in a very less voice or a very low pitch voice. It can also be in relation to the way we are talking in a very fast pace, or let's say in a very slow pace as well. So based upon the pace of the voice, we might also feel really good, bad about it. And finally, it's also related to the tone of the voice. So some people might have a very harsh tone. He or she might talk in a very direct manner. And just opposite to that, there might be some people who might talk in a very, very polite tone. So based upon the tone of voice, we might either have a positive situation in regards to any communication that has taken place at workplace, or it might also lead us to negative circumstances. So just as one of the participants have mentioned that the one of the senior have done very bad attitude and treated very badly to a particular person here in the chat box itself. So based upon the tone of voice, maybe you might be thinking that, oh, so he or she is really, rude, or he or she is very harsh towards you. So next one is also in terms of choice of words. So choice of words is very important, because even though we are talking a particular scenario, that particular verse or the sentence that we choose either might break the communication or make the communication. So the choice of words, the choice of sentences, or the way we are communicating also cause us as a listener to either think about a particular situation in a positive manner, or let's say in a very negative manner as well. And finally, it's also related to body language. So depending upon the gesture, posture, and also about the various facial features of a particular person, we might feel that, oh, so this person is really positive towards us, or let's say he or she is really rude towards us. So these are all the common causes of communication triggers. So let me just talk about all these elements based by various scientific reasonings. So there was this research which was conducted by Albert, and all this research was done by the organization named as UCLA. So this particular research states that whenever a particular person is talking, okay, it can be any particular moment. So whenever we are talking, so most of the things that we are communicated, out of 100%, 38% simply is backed by the tone of voice. So that means to say that based upon the tone of voice. So that means to say that, let's say someone have a very harsh tone, then the other person might feel that, oh, so this person is talking in a very rude manner, but he or she might not have done in a very harsh manner. So the tone of voice, whenever we are talking with someone, we need to maintain as per the choice of words, or let's say as per our body language. Next is various psycholinguistic studies states that whenever we hear negative words, so, right, so recently we just talked about the choice of words. So let's say someone talked to you in a very harsh manner, or let's say in a very direct manner. So what happens in our brain is that negative words tend to process in a very faster way, and also we tend to remember all the negative situations. So when I asked you the question saying that, oh, so say, provide us a situation where you have faced in a very difficult situation in terms of communication, you are still remembering all these things, right? So depending upon a particular scenario, our brain stores all this information, and whenever there is a negative situation happening, we tend to remember it and we store in our brain, and that is all done through our brain component named as amygdala. Next is another studies highlight that whenever someone is communicating to us, or also we are communicating to them, 55% constitutes about our body language. So depending upon our body language, irrespective of we are talking in a very polite tone, or let's say we are using a very good choice of words, if our words, our words is not, in direct alignment with our body language, then definitely the other person might not feel good about whatever you are talking. So we need to think about all these elements. And just to highlight all these factors, the thing is, first one, again, in terms of your voice tone, next one in terms of your body language, and also in respect to your choice of words. So now let's talk about why does these things triggers and matters to us. Okay, so whenever, let's say, someone is communicating to us, and let me be clear to this factor, saying that, okay, irrespective of someone is communicating to us in terms of face-to-face communication, or let's say in email, or let's say in telephonic conversation, if we as a receiver of the information, we do not understand the message completely, then we as a listener, we tend to feel all these incomplete information, or let's say barriers in communication, through our own assumptions. Okay, so whenever there is a discrepancies happening in any sort of communication, in any forms of communication, we tend to fill in our various assumptions, saying that, oh, so this person might have said because of these reasons, or let's say my boss or my juniors have sent me a very harsh email because of all these reasons that have taken place few days back. And all these assumptions, whatsoever is running in our head, in the back of our mind, it leads to frustration, it leads to defensiveness, and it also leads to confusing situation. Okay, so whenever there is a negative situation, we always tend to think about it a lot, and it tends to bring a lot of stress in our workplace and also in our personal life as well. So now let's talk about the various techniques on how we can improve our workplace communication. Okay, so the first technique that I'm going to share with you all is using the CARE formula. So this is basically an acronym which we can use in our daily workplace whenever we are facing communication challenge. So now let's talk about what CARE stands for. The first acronym, C, stands for centering ourselves. Okay, so whenever there is a negative situation that has recently taken place to you in terms of any forms of communication, rather than being reactive and being defensive, okay, or let's say just responding to that particular situation immediately, you need to take a pause. So this term is also known as cooling effect, which states that whenever we receive the information and we tend to be very reactive, and this I'm talking about in terms of a very negative situation. Okay, so let's say you are working in customer service and one of your customer have talked to you in a very loud manner, or let's say in a very rude way, saying that, okay, so these are all the problems that I've faced because of this reasons. And you as a customer service person might feel that, oh, so I have not done anything, but this client is shouting at me, or this customer is shouting at me. So in spite of being reactive, saying that, sir or ma'am, I'm not doing all these things, etc., etc., you just need to take a pause. Okay, so in order to take a pause, we just need to take a very simple step by taking a very deep breath. Okay, so just by taking one deep breath, various studies shows that our stress hormone,